Hi, I am going to teach one of the early messages. This, this message is taught on an audio that's on the Awakening Together website, but there's an awful lot of discussion in that audio. And I thought maybe if I just came here live right now and taught it, that I could do it in a more succinct way. So I'll share my screen. This is the message. It's a message that came to me from Inner Wisdom on September 17th, 2005. I wrote, "This morning, I let the Holy Spirit guide my fingers as I opened A Course in Miracles to a seemingly random page. We opened to page 46, Judgment and the Authority Problem. I read that section with the Holy Spirit and then asked the following question." So here was the question. "After what I have read this morning, what would you like to say to me?" And here is the answer. Welcome back to our morning dialogue. These dialogues are important to your learning and acceptance, so I would like to continue them. Do not stop the dialogues to focus on the retelling of Mark. The dialogues will help you to put yourself aside so you can hear my retelling of Mark. What this is referring to is in the month of September of 2005, I was scribing NTI. I was literally scribing Mark at the time. And I do remember having a lot of fear as I was going through Mark. So what Inner Wisdom is telling me is, in addition to doing the scribing work, I need to come and have these personal conversations that are more directed at me and what I'm going through. That would help me to be a better scribe if I have these devotional conversations every morning in addition to the NTI scribing work. All right, so here is what Inner Wisdom wants to say to me on this day. Judgment is a habit that you have. This habit of judgment is an obstacle to knowing your true self. So it is this habit of judgment we will work on. Your role is to become aware of your judgments. Your judgments are synonymous with the term attack thoughts, and that's a term that's very common in A Course in Miracles. Your judgments are synonymous with the term attack thoughts, since judgment separates what is into segments and orders them according to preference. And preference is nothing more than more judgment. So everything that is, we can call it essence, we can call it God, we can call it life, some people call it consciousness. But when we exercise judgment in our mind and make judgments about everything we see, we don't see it as it really is. We see it according to our judgments. And so in that way, it's an error because we're seeing what isn't true. We're seeing falsely. The next paragraph says, when you judge something or someone, you see it as separate from you, and you put yourself in a position of authority to make a decision regarding its worth or lack of worth or relative worth. This is an attack on yourself, because within this thought, you see yourself as separate from that which you judge, and you see yourself as the authority, which means you deny that your authority is God. In the simple act of judging what seems to be an everyday occurrence in your life, you keep the separation alive within your mind. And what is alive within your mind is your experience, since all experience is of the mind. So I am going to experience the sense of separation. I'm going to experience me and it, or us and them, or me and her. And I'm also going to experience separate wills and conflict. I'm going to experience all of this because I am choosing to judge within the mind, because I am choosing to see varying levels of worth, varying levels of right and wrong, varying levels of what should be and what should not be. When this message was given, NTI Luke had not been scribed yet. We've already heard I was scribing NTI Mark at the time. But in NTI Luke, there's this wonderful statement that says that judgment is like a knife because it cuts the Son of God into pieces, right? Instead of seeing one essence, one life, one consciousness, we see many different things of varying levels of worth. So again, in the simple act of judging what seems to be an everyday occurrence in your life, you keep the separation alive within your mind. And what is alive within your mind is your experience, since all experience is of the mind. Now, this is why I wanted to come and teach this message. This is the important part. That was all just leading up to it. I ask you to reverse the habit of judgment by extending mercy to all that you would judge. Do not make the mistake of judging for yourself what form the mercy would take, for then you are perpetuating the concept of separation. After all, a concept is all that it is. Instead, I ask you to notice when you judge. Be willing to extend mercy instead, and ask me what mercy I would extend. I will lead you in your thoughts to give through thought what is most helpful at the time. I may also guide you in action, but I will primarily guide you in thought. So what is this mercy? Someone asked that in the audio. What is this mercy? Well, again, the mercy can look different at different times. But let's imagine someone is talking to me and I'm judging everything they're saying. If I notice my judging and I'm willing not to judge, and I ask, what mercy shall I extend now? The answer might be, just listen, right? That's the mercy, just listen. Because the judging is the attacking, right? So it's merciful to just listen. Pay attention, right? So that's one type of mercy that we might experience. In another situation, I could be judging something out there in the world that shouldn't be happening. How dare they do that? And then I notice I'm judging. I'm willing not to judge. And so I ask, what kind of mercy shall I extend now? And I may realize you don't know. You don't know what's in everybody's best interest. You don't know what lessons the world needs to go through. You don't know. And by choosing to accept, I don't know, I'm extending mercy. Another example of mercy that I was given many, many times is you could be judging anything at all. Somebody walks down the street talking to themselves and you judge them as a crazy homeless person. And then you notice this judgment that's going on in your mind. What mercy shall I extend now? Just take it back. Just say, I take that back, right? I take it back. So there's all kinds of mercy that could be guided in the moment. But first, our job is to recognize that we're judging, just notice it. Be willing not to judge, just be willing. And then 3, ask, what kind of mercy can I extend now? So starting with the last paragraph again. Instead, I ask you to notice when you judge. Be willing to extend mercy instead, and ask me what mercy I would extend. I will lead you in your thoughts to give through thought what is most helpful at the time. I may also guide you in action, but I will primarily guide you in thought. Guiding you in thought without leading you to take a specific action is helpful for you at this time, because it helps you to remove your awareness from the world of form as reality and place it on the world of mind as reality. As you follow my guidance to extend the thoughts I would have you extend, and you perceive miracles based on the extension of thought, you will come to accept mind as self, or we could say consciousness as self. Mind as connectedness, or we could say consciousness as connectedness, and oneness, or we could say unity as the reality of mind. Within this acceptance, you will find salvation. And if that last paragraph sounds familiar, that's because I already posted that part of the discussion. So let's see what else we have here. Remember to seek your thoughts with me in openness. It is my thoughts that you want to extend. In time, you will come to know them as your thoughts. In other words, in time, this judgment habit will no longer be what's happening in the mind. Instead, what's happening in the mind is just listening. What's happening in the mind is knowing I don't know, right? And if a judgment should appear, which they still will on rare occasions, then what's happening is a natural, I take that back. So remember to seek your thoughts with me in openness. It is my thoughts that you want to extend. In time, you will come to know them as your thoughts. In the beginning, be willing to lay your thoughts of what is helpful aside, that you may hear my thoughts and extend them. Every time you lay aside judgment and practice extending my thoughts, you help to heal the world of its own illusion. Thank you. And the different examples that I shared of mercy are not the only ones. So don't think that you are limited to those. Just be willing to notice when you judge, have willingness to let go of the judgment habit or extend mercy instead. Ask within, what mercy shall I extend? And then see what arises for you, what you feel from intuition, what right-minded thoughts you might hear, what might even be something that catches your eye and you know that's the answer. Notice, be willing, and then turn towards spiritual intuition.